Done. Unfortunate. Mm, mm. All right then.
That's that's sweet. Summer child.
Oh no, the humanity. True.
Yep.
It just works.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, his internet is uh
Is
yeah,
it?
also true.
And then he doesn't. And then
Amazing.
he doesn't
Kinda
show up.
really.
As stupid as our
And
show is, we have a schedule and we are here.
And we keep to it.
yeah, we are unfortunately consistent.
Shit.
Understandable. I'm gonna go get something to drink. I'll be right back.
Ah, yes, I'm going to troll everything and annoy every single NPC.
Sorry,
Yeah,
who are we talking about?
girl, right now.
Oh, what has she said? Huh.
Wait, I'm sorry, who said that?
Gura. Yeah,
One of them
Meanwhile,
has the
Ina, I
more
think
realistic view.
here's the thing. Ina's the one I expect to beat it.
yeah,
Because Ina's going. She's like a. Um, yeah, that's
yeah.
true.
I don't expect
Yeah.
them to be able to keep at it.
Eh, I mean, Callie might finish it. Probably not on stream though. Yep.
Yeah.
A completionist on stream, anyway, she is not.
I love the random tumbleweeds in this game. I don't know why.
They're fun.
They just kind of exist. It's just
No.
there.
I need one arcane to use this damn bow. Yeah. I'm gonna use it to heavy bleed.
Is it a good bow?
Or heavy poison.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Imbues arrows with poison through pagan magic, revealing its true worth when used with poison-infused arrows. Yeah.
That's
The
pretty cool.
The serpent, I think. Possibly. Possibly. I'm looking for where the serpent
How do I
is.
get deeper into this place?
It's exploding.
Yeah, there we go. So I just had to run out and grab some spicy liquids.
Understand.
As you do.
As I do, yes.
Of course. I'll drink to that.
But welcome to Fanfiction M Theater 9005, everybody. Let's get started tonight. Let's get it started in here. Let's get
What
it
if we all
started,
just
huh?
alternate suggestion, Sneaky? We all spent 2 hours taking a nap.
But that doesn't create
If you
content.
suggested that like 4 hours earlier, that would have been great.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ping
Wow.
you. I'm gonna ping Andros. Because I know they've all had this server muted. They'll show up. They just have this server fucking muted. Because they're dumbasses or something. I don't know, man. Who else can I ping obnoxiously? Tension,
can't
yeah,
blame
them.
tension.
I think Dojo as well. Why not?
I mean, sure, you can ping them if you want.
Is there a reason you're pinging all these folks?
To attempt to
just
get people to actually
Once-
go up and watch our
They're
content.
just the people that typically show up. And I know
Oh.
they probably have the whole role mute going. So they probably forgot. They're all absolutely forgetful bastards as well, so...
Yeah.
Maybe they just don't want to be owned because being owned is suffering half the time.
Andros literally lives for it, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Suffering or our show. There's a difference.
Suffering.
Literally,
Suffering
he...
delivers more
Andros
story than
Andros
anyone
does what
else.
I do on this show, except he actually reads the story. Like, completely.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's
he's like
fucking
me then.
mad.
He'll just read because he wants to see the train wreck.
More or
Actual
less.
fucking psychopath.
He also has, like, zero taste. Like, Andros genuinely sits there and goes, yeah, so I actually heard a good idea on Care Azkaban forums today. I'm like, well, first off, you're going to have to rephrase that statement because what you just said is physically impossible.
Yeah.
Fucking Care
It's a series of
Azkaban.
oxymorons.
Honestly, I hate Care Azkaban. He is probably... Well, Rorschach's Blot is probably one of my least favorite authors in existence. Like, I actually hate him more than Fairy Tail.
Dumb.
To be honest, the fact that he calls himself Rorschach's Blot already makes me think he has a higher opinion of himself than he should.
He has a really high opinion of himself. And the reason why I hate him so much... Ooh, that smells good. The reason why I hate him so much is because he wrote this fic a while back called Care Azkaban. And
Okay.
it was a
Yeah.
Fate's Gamble tier story. In both length and content.
Yep.
And it gained a following.
As those tend to do for some reason.
Yep.
Yeah, it's almost like a lot of shit is attractive to people.
Well...
Like, it doesn't have to be good, it's just that there just has to be a lot of it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've
The
seen
reasonable
plenty of
amount.
stories with millions of words, only like 7 favorites, so...
Yeah, but like,
Those were his
how
core
many
ideas.
proportionally, like, more of a story will attract more people, even if it's
I
generally
mean, I think
worse.
there's a lot of factors that go into it, but yeah, unfortunately.
Of course, luck probably being the biggest one. But
Yeah.
like, as far as maybe it's because stories that get a lot of attention are more likely to survive. The authors don't drop them as easily, perhaps.
Unless you're the dyslexic writer guy. Fuck that man.
Him.
Or, Cledwin.
Well, he
I
doesn't
mean,
write a lot.
he would drop his own child out of a fucking car window, so I don't think
Probably,
he
yeah.
counts.
You can't really count him, no.
Yeah.
Speaking of
I'll
which, so
drink to
let's
that.
do a Harry Potter story. Fuck it. Actually, you know what? No.
Oh,
Percy Jackson.
fuck.
Oh,
Ow.
please,
Ah,
the pain.
I still have a sore throat, and that fucking shot I just took felt like I stabbed myself. Ah.
The pain makes
Okay.
you get over the pain faster.
Decidedly
God.
untrue.
Why did you...
Just distract
no.
yourself from the pain with more pain.
Yeah,
Oh, I
Sneaky.
actually, a funny story, I actually got my little sister with that one time.
Epic.
She was like, oh, my leg hurts so much. I was like, I was actually kind of really getting tired of her bitching, so I was like, yeah, I can make your leg pain go away. She's like, really? It's like, yeah. You want me to do it? She's like, yeah. So I punched her in the arm really hard. She's like, ah, my arm!
Epic.
I'm
Who is
like,
this
"What
spear katana wielding weeb?
I'm like, what, does your leg still hurt? She's like, no, but now my arm does. I can fix your arm. No!
Hey, she learned at least.
It's better
Break
than
the
a
leg.
number of people I've dealt with.
Oh, God.
What is up with this weeping angel ass statue room?
Yeah, don't ask. Last question.
Don't ask.
Is
Is
it
that it?
actually Weeping Angels?
I
It
could have. Oh,
feels like
that
it should
explains why.
be.
I did not, in fact, click English. I clicked Dutch. I'm like, why is all this Dutch stories in the English
Oh.
section?
Deutsch, so it's German, but close enough, honestly.
Look, when they win a world war, I'll start calling them the correct ethnicity.
You might not actually have to wait too long for that.
Yeah,
You
I
see the
saw the
fucking,
graph. I saw the graph.
Military budget.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
saw the graph. That was a good meme.
Wait. I just saw something earlier, hang on.
So obviously the top story of today's update list is the Heroes of Olympus sex stories. Cross-posted from AO3.
Of course it is.
I don't like
Excellent.
Yeah.
Pipe bomb.
Because you know what I come to the Percy Jackson section about? You know what I come to the Percy Jackson section about? The characters, the 14-year-old characters. You know what I come to the Percy Jackson section about? I definitely come for the 14-year-old characters to hear their sex lives. That's definitely why I come to this
Absolutely.
section.
Yes,
Of course.
right there, Mr. Federal Officer. That one.
Damn glowies.
The air in my lungs keeps me afloat. Wow, that is such a fucking YA romance written by a woman novel.
The fuck is that username? Word addict? What?
The air in my lungs keeps me afloat, as opposed to keeping you dead?
Inside, but inside I'm still hollow. Those
I
two,
mean,
this is
just
what I'm
fucking
talking about.
hope
Like, this
so.
is what I'm talking about when I say this screams like YA woman's novel. Of just, what does this even mean? The air in my lungs keep me afloat. Summary, but inside I'm still hollow. What does the fuck does you breathing have anything to do with how hollow you feel inside? It's
Delivered that.
This is a follow-up to my story about the aromantic child of Aphrodite.
I
Those
What?
were a lot of
think
words. You
Aphrodite would
just
allow that.
Those
Yeah.
were words.
Yeah, so basically, aromantic is, I believe, what my ex was like. That
she was
took me through.
asexual.
No, that's what aromantic is, Max. Is like she specifically wanted the romance part of the relationship, but nothing else.
Wait.
I thought aromantic would be not
Yeah,
desiring
the
romance.
inverse. Just the physical, not the.
See, I don't fucking get these
emotional.
abbreviations.
It's not abbreviation. It's
No, the ace
never mind.
aro. That's what I'm saying. What the
Well,
fuck is
yeah,
ace
sure.
aro?
If you actually abbreviate it, would be an abbreviation.
Okay, so the
Um,
University of Oxford is about to educate us on what ace aro is.
Yeah,
Got it.
no. It's literally what me and Arn were trying to explain. No desire for
Delivered, yeah.
romantic relationships.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah,
Alright.
Meeps was, and as far as I'm aware, still is asexual. Like, it's just lacking asexual attraction or
Yes, I
asexual
realize
drive.
that. I'm saying that she told me that she just wants the romantic part of the relationship and doesn't want anything else with it.
Yeah. So like best friends, but
Basically, she wants someone to take her out on dates and spend money on her and, take her places and do all that stuff. And then that's it.
yeah,
Don't do anything else.
women, huh?
Well, Sneaky, presumably the person taking them out is also going to get the joy of having someone to listen to their problems and spend time with and spend time enjoying with them. Like,
Yeah, but that's just being a
Theoretically,
friend
yeah.
then.
That's called being a friend.
She
I
wants
don't know
the whole
about you, but I don't take my
boyfriend girlfriend
friends out.
thing. Well, if I was actually around, yeah, I actually did that back in college. Is I would bother my roommates and my friends that I had in college, be like, "Hey guys, let's go, fucking bowling and let's go,
Okay,
to
were you
restaurants and shit."
paying for their
Yeah,
tickets?
were you paying for those things, though?
I mean, sometimes, yeah.
Well, okay then.
Like not always, obviously.
Well, yeah,
but, like,
obviously not always, but
like we would go see movies and shit. But that's just called being friends. Like she wanted the whole boyfriend girlfriend aspects of everything up until anything related to that. And she was terrible
Women.
at reciprocating, so yeah.
Yeah,
Amazing.
that part's not surprising.
But anyway, so yeah, riveting story. Read about this child of Aphrodite, which is somehow managed to be aromantic. I honestly really doubt it. It's like reading a story about a child of Poseidon that can't swim.
True.
It
Like-
sounds like a really cool plot twist. Until the story is all about them. Like if they were a side character, you might be able to get away with it.
As a
they're
main,
yeah, because they're like, it's like, oh, that's the quirky side character. They got some sort of defect to them that makes them quirky and interesting. Ho ho.
Funny.
They
I was
show
gonna
up
say,
like
like,
4 times
it's-
in the story.
it's an interesting
Wow.
idea until you realize that the gods of Olympus are not what you would call forward thinking,
Well,
and
no-
would most certainly
Yeah.
let me finish.
yeah.
Would most certainly go, the child of mine cannot do the things that are necessary for a child of Poseidon that can't swim. I'm not going to allow that, says Poseidon.
Right.
I
That
guess I'm a
is one
Spartan
angle.
now.
Yeah, that is certainly one angle. You also have to keep in mind shit like Aphrodite's a frigid bitch in pretty much all of her myths, and especially in PJO, absolute excessive bitch. Like bitch turned to 12 out of 10. That's how she's depicted in PJO. And so if one of her and her favorite child is whoever's betting the most opposite sex at that time.
No, whoever's just banging the most. They did change it later.
Oh, did they change it later?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, point being is that sex equals her
And
favor.
second place is whoever's having the spiciest romance, not
That's
the
fair.
most stable or the most loving or the best.
The most drama filled.
Yeah.
Yeah. So clearly she's not a stable person or an understanding person or a reasonable person or any other word you would use to describe someone that wouldn't put a cap in your ass because you annoyed them. In fact, actually, that's what Aphrodite tried to do several times throughout the stories to the main gang.
Amazing.
Fully
not
knowing that
main
they were
gang.
on fully knowing that the main gang was on a quest to save the world and prevent the Titans from coming back and some shit. Aphrodite would just be like, "Hey, you pissed me off by saying no to that girl that I enchanted to try and sleep with you. So I'm going to make you fight my husband now. My other husband, Ares, the one I'm cucking, my real husband." But
And then you had the gall to turn me down. So
yeah. So yeah, Aphrodite not exactly a very reasonable or stable individual.
What a lovely person.
Mm.
So basically,
No,
point being
Sneaky.
is that of all the possibilities of God,
Sneaky, here's an idea. Allah.
yeah,
in a PGO
basically,
thing.
yeah. Basically, what I'm trying to say here is Aphrodite would probably literally vaporize their child out of existence if they were aromantic and asexual.
like,
Epic.
to be fair, she'd probably give them an ultimatum: start sleeping around or die.
I mean that's probably yeah.
Because you see, she likes to give people second chances to fix their mistakes.
Yeah. But on top of that, the whole premise of the whole oh yeah, I'm the son of or daughter of X god, but I can't do what X god is famous for. Like a son or daughter of Apollo not being able to use a bow. Or yeah, so you're implying with that statement, and this is more in terms of narrative and backstory and world building coherency. You're implying with that statement that literal divinity is weaker than genetics of a human.
I mean, not necessarily even genetics, but chemistry, hormones.
Well, I mean that's where the
Right.
hormones are derived from, is your genetics, and if you have an error
Yeah,
in your genetics, you end up with messed up hormones and all that fun stuff.
sure, but it's not necessarily genetic. It can also be environmental in more rare
Oh
cases.
yeah, certainly, yeah. But point still standing is that you're saying
Yeah,
that
biology.
normal mortal biology is somehow superior to literal divinity, which I find hilarious because literal fucking
Interesting
divinity. You're supposed to tell me these people are gods, but yet, Poseidon's son can't swim.
Oh.
It's like, okay, all right. Alright, now my headset's plugged in and won't die in the middle of the stream. Can you all hear me still?
Yes.
Yes.
Excellent, that's good to hear. So then we clearly have a Coffee Shop AU soundtrack story.
Okay, individually, I understand and comprehend those words.
Maybe it's not the best move to fall in love with your best friend's mother. A Athena times Percy Jackson story.
Yeah, that's great.
Fuck.
That's a spicy meatball, boys.
That's some next level cucking, to be honest. Imagine being
Not
cucked by your
Really?
mother.
I mean, technically speaking, it never has to get anywhere sexual.
I know. I'm aware. Point being, kind of awkward still.
Absolutely.
I'll
Scattered
be honest,
Dimensions, a
it
PGO
feels like a Reddit
fanfiction.
post.
Yeah, a little bit. Scattered Dimensions, a PJO fanfiction. Percy, like, thank you for telling us it's a PJO fanfiction, author. I would have never
Sneaky,
guessed.
I'm sorry, I can just see it
Yeah.
now. The r/am I the asshole post for stealing my daughter's boyfriend.
You know what? I am almost 100% certain that if you went on that Reddit right now, at least one person has posted that. At least
I don't
one.
want to know. I don't
I'm
like.
googling right now.
Of course you are.
The fact that you could be right is what upsets me.
Is my stream health okay? Because I'm getting some weird
It's
fucking
been cutting
readings.
a bit for me.
I mean,
well,
it's been a little.
Twitch is
chuggy,
saying
but
I have
not
an
like-
excellent connection, so I'm not really sure whose opinion to take right now, because Twitch is saying my connection's fabulous. OBS says my connection's garbo. In living memory of the fuck I used to give.
Yep.
Fair enough, I suppose. Demigod powers, the abilities demigods should have had.
What?
The cover pic on my story is my dad.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Why?
Fucking mugshot of your father. Yeah, it's also not a story, by the way. It's another rule breaker.
Oh yeah, of course.
So-
Fabulous. You know what? We're just gonna skip over to the anime section, and we're gonna do some My Hero Academia.
That's somehow less painful.
Yeah. It's gonna be less painful if we do it like this. Language, English. You know, we really do have to get Arn to read a story in Norse for us someday.
I did actually do that for Gray and Max after a stream once, and it was painful.
It was fun for me, great. We had no idea what he was saying,
Yeah.
Except that he was
but he was
dying.
very unhappy.
I'm sure.
I live translated some of it, and it was disgusting. Honestly, that's
Colored
About-
red. This is a spoiler for the manga. Japan becomes a war zone after bad events happen with the Paranormal Liberation Front. With Izuku and All Might absent from the And with Izuku and All Might absent for the sake of the city's safety, Katsuki is left behind. What?
some advanced brain shit.
This guy is like trying to really jam it all into one sentence. He's got a fucking semicolon, a comma, and a hyphen in here.
Jesus.
Well, that's impressive, honestly.
I hate. You know what? No, I don't
I
hate
would-
the people that try to use this type of punctuation. I just loathe them. I despise them. They try to be fancy, and they look stupid.
I would be impressed if I wasn't so violently upset.
Basically. So anyway, that's gibberish of a sentence. Stuck in the hospital after a near-death experience at hands of Shigaraki.
Handman.
Yeah, no, I know that. I'm just trying to
Round.
parse this sentence though. Okay, so Izuku and All Might are gone for some reason. And not connected to that statement, despite it being a comma there, Katsuki was left behind due to the events of his encounter with Disintegration Man. I don't know why that's a comma instead of a period. Because if he's stuck in the hospital, he's not going to be able to keep the city safe. Like, I don't know what the fuck this is supposed to even mean. But an unexpected event forces Katsuki in Class 1A on a journey of their own accord.
What?
That is... Congratulations, author. That is the most lucid and coherent summary I have ever read that has meant absolutely nothing.
Impressive.
You have just said a whole bunch of words that did technically make sentences, and I didn't understand a single bit of it. PJ Story 2 by Cool Guy 37256. In sequel to first PJ Story, polar opposite twins Kuruna and Hiyashi Midoriya must put aside their differences to create an army of heroes when a new threat to peace and harmony has arrived with new members. However, they have insecurities and flaws.
Yes,
Okay.
that is generally what happens with people.
Another very exquisite story. Rapunzel has a frying pan and knows how to use it. That's the title of the story. Tamaki Amakudrakji lived all his life in a tower and only his mysterious and terrifying father as company until a nude blonde boy pops out of the floor to have gay sex with him.
That's not what's there.
No, it's not what's there.
I mean, you don't know.
No,
I'm like, look, I like Lemillion. I like the whole comedy shtick around him, and I like his whole power set. I think it's cool, but I'm sorry, if I was being held at gunpoint, and this dude just pops through a wall to punch the gunner in the head. And he's like, don't worry, I'm here to save you. And he's just fucking in the buff, just like fucking absolutely chiseled body in the buff, and he's giving me some sort of like heroic pose. But I'm just getting some full frontal flashing going on. I'd just be like, I don't know, am I about to be raped? Is that what's going on here?
I mean,
Yeah. Probably.
I
Yeah.
guess that's not exactly the most
I mean, okay, here's the counterpoint to that.
not the best.
The hero Midnight exists, and she just ran around buck naked.
Okay, she did that for apparently like a week before the rest of the Hero Society got on her ass for that. Phrasing.
I mean-
that's not what I meant to say.
That happens often around midnight.
You know what I mean. Fuck off.
That also happens often around midnight.
God damn it. I said it and I was like, wait.
This thing a quiet madness made by Anime Nugget. A family friend of Bakugo's.
Bakugo, more like Baku no.
Fucking go the fuck away.
Hey.
Bakugo the fuck away. That's a good one.
Bakugo, get some bitches.
Yeah.
Bakugo.
What do
ride these
Bakugo
nuts.
get bent?
Bakugo get bent. Bakugo these nuts. Heyo.
Baku
Moves
get the
in
fuck
with
out of here
them
before
as
I
she
pop you,
prepares to
or
enter
you want
high
to-
school.
I don't know.
To everyone else, she's cheerful, upbeat, and kind. But the more time Bakugo spends around the girl, he begins to realize there's something extremely wrong with her. Bakugo
She's a
times
murder
Todoroki times OC.
Because that's a thing.
That's great.
46
You-
chapters,
Said words. I'd like to request.
177,000 words, only 79 reviews, and 126 faves. This story has been ongoing for 2 years. Those are not good
Yeah.
numbers.
That is concerning. Actually, no, it's not. It's good.
Is her really unknown? Yeah, her name's really unknown. That's pretty cringe, bro.
That is excellent. Immediate death.
And most of these reviews are by the same people.
I mean, are we surprised?
No. And by the lack of guest reviews, I can only assume they do a very careful pruning.
Why, of course.
The Chronicles of Deku. Izuku Midoriya was having one of the worst days of his life. He was bullied, attacked, and told to give up on his dream by his hero. Dejected, Midoriya walks through the woods until he finds a hole, and in the hole is an object, and Izuku takes the object from the hole. And now Izuku has powers he could only have dreamed of. But can he keep them in check long enough to be a hero inspired by Chronicle? What the fuck is Chronicle?
No.
Chronicle.
Also, author missed an opportunity for Dick in the Box jokes.
2012 American found footage science fiction film? Question mark.
Sci-fi.
I think it's the film. Yeah, they gain telekinetic powers from an unknown object.
Film. Chronicle film. Okay, so Chronicle 20 is 2012 American found footage science fiction anime film, directed by Josh, with a screenplay from Max. Interesting, Max. I didn't know you left a double life.
Fuck.
Tell us more about your screenplay.
Yeah, come on, Max. Tell us more about your screenplay.
I'd love to know more about it too.
Hey, is this the ultimate version of ghostwriting?
Yes.
It might
An
be.
alternate version of yourself writing your own story.
That bastard! How dare he? Can we actually get like a trailer for this or something?
Well,
Sorry, so what
see
is
what I
this
can
being
find.
written for?
3 high school friends gain superpowers after they make a discovery underground and oh, this is the whole train thing where they like derail a train with their powers and shit, and like I don't think it did that well. Oh, it got 2 awards. Really?
Oh, I remember. I kind of
Yeah,
remember
dude,
this.
it
Did it
fucking
do
10x
anything?
its budget at the box office. So it's alright.
Yeah, I don't I remember this movie existing.
I don't know anything about this.
I kind of remember the charge being like, this is gonna be grimdark teen superheroes who just got their powers and really fucked up. And that's it. That's all I remember.
God, that is such a 2010 haircut. Holy shit.
Oh boy, that is a 2010 and a half.
I'm terrified to look at this. Let's see. Oh, Jesus. That is...
Oh my god, all of these haircuts are 2010.
Those are definitely 2010 haircuts. This is the most 2010 show I've ever seen.
Yeah.
What the hell? Yeah, this is so 2010.
How much you want to bet
yeah,
there's going to be a lot of men in black suits?
I remember this. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and then it got super fucking dark.
Yeah, because they nearly killed they realized they're going to they
and then
kill
the
people.
quiet kid goes full don't come to school tomorrow.
In full sicko mode.
Of course he does. It's a found footage film.
Yeah, like that was all the rage back in the day.
Oh no. Guys, according to the producer, Max, the screenwriter, was banned from set and production due to sexual and emotional abuse accusations.
Ooh,
So
That's-
that's
not good.
I got some bad
Nah.
news for you, Max. I mean, I don't think you can be on this podcast anymore.
that's unfortunate.
We might have to denounce
I mean, if
you
we want
on
to start bringing
Twitter.
that kind of shit up.
Yeah.
I don't know, Max. I don't think you're gonna find anyone named Sneaky Devil on the internet that has been accused of sexual abuse.
I'm sorry to tell you, that is patently false. That's a conversation for off stream, though.
Yes. Well, that's not a. It's not a. It's not a. What's the word I'm looking for? Reliable source. So anyway, yeah, Chronicles of Deku, which I guess is just Deku getting the powers from Chronicle and then arbitrarily somehow starting to kill people with them or something.
Who the fuck knows?
Yeah. Neither does the author apparently. I mean, it's been
Like, that was
ongoing
surprised.
for about only 2 months now, and he's got a decent 29k words out. So I mean, hey, good for him, I suppose. But don't really see where this is going. Don't know why he didn't put it in the crossover section either. But I'm gonna be honest. If I'm just remembering this film, I don't think there's any
Yeah.
fiction for it.
Yeah, no, I don't think there is a crossover section to put it in. Although I can check. Hang on.
My Hero Cannonball admits a burgeoning anti-quirk
Oh, wait,
movement.
sneaky.
No,
Sneaky.
there is.
There are 75 fics per Chronicle.
What?
That's way
Yep.
too many.
That's 75 too many. Yeah.
75 stories.
The Japanese government threatens to pull funding from UA because of an anti-quirk movement by. Okay.
These crossovers, though. Not
An
exactly inspiring.
anti-quirk movement. So a movement supported by theoretically, at best, 20% of the population.
Sneaky, we've seen that makes no difference. Look at modern politics. 20% of the
Yeah.
population can absolutely complain loud enough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I hear you.
I
Just
mean-
I don't know. I just yeah.
You know, the American Revolution. Kind of supported by not that many, honestly.
Yeah, but the small
They
difference there was the British didn't have people that could shoot fucking laser beams and crush mountains.
Yeah.
And you gotta keep in mind here, the anti-quirk movement would likely be made up of people who don't have quirks. Unless you're one of those
More
black
decent.
KKK members or something, I guess.
Yeah, true. Traders. Glowies.
But
Wait,
so yeah,
Sneaky.
the anti-quirk movement
You
theoretically
think
made up
there's
of people without
a
quirks.
Fed in MHA with a glow-in-the-dark quirk?
I think there is, yeah.
Based.
Somehow managed to pressure the Japanese government, which is staffed almost exclusively by people with quirks, to defund a school that produces heroes filled with people with quirks.
Hmm.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it's as nonsensical as modern politics, so at least the author has that one down. I just,
Yeah.
I don't see where this story is really going, though. Deku seems to be out of options. I mean, hey, at least they got that part down, too. Anti-quirk movement tries to make class action against quirk people, and ends up hurting non-quirked people in the process.
Wow.
Pretty typical. It seems to be out of options until a foreign film festival at
What?
Todoroki's inspires him to rally his fellow students for America's most
What?
infamous auto race.
Wait.
What?
Is it a fucking cannonball red fake? What? Hey, yo, boys, fucking Izuku's about to drive across America in 24 hours or less. Let's go.
Okay, that's at least moderately interesting. I'll grant him that.
Yeah,
It's a
moderately
fucking
interesting, but I'm
twist.
not really sure how you're gonna tie that into My Hero Academia.
Neither do I. Now, I'll grant you,
Yeah.
Cannonball Run could be a lot more interesting with people that could shoot lasers.
I mean, yeah, that's true. That's very true. I'm just really confused what this has anything to do with Japan, though.
It doesn't.
So a bunch of people were being racist in Japan, so now Izuku, who has to go race a car in America to stop the defunding of his Japanese high school. I mean, hey, it's okay, I guess.
I mean, presumably, if he wins, he'll get a giant pile of money.
Which is what, gonna use to fund the school budget for all of 1 year?
Yes. Well,
Also, he'd
maybe
be
he'll just
taxed.
fund it. Maybe he'll be able to fund their liability insurance for 1 year.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like everyone kind of more or less agrees with me. The story's been updated over the course of a month, only about 16k words, which, I mean, still is impressive for a month. But unfortunately, it does only have 4 favorites. So it looks like a lot of people agree with me in the response to this story being, but why?
Why though?
Yeah, why though? Yeah. Changed by fluffiest writer. He wasn't afraid anymore. His parents died, so who would miss him? After going to live with his uncle in Australia.
No. Izuku went to the dark side. He went to Australia.
Izuku's becoming Hachima. He got a message saying that All Might was now sick and dying. Why would he...
Why would he receive this message?
Yeah, wait. Unless they're saying that All Might made Izuku his inheritor, and then Izuku's mom died, and he arbitrarily decided to just move to Australia in the middle of class? Okay. Rushing home, the others hadn't realized things were now different, but neither did he. Angst and romance. With the main characters, Izuku and Katsuki.
Pipe bomb.
Yeah, the romance tag is making me a little bit unsettled, I will admit. What
have you discovered?
I went to their author page.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Age, I'm
I
definitely
see.
not 16. Wattpad, I'm quirky editor. Instagram, 613 Little Shorty. I have this person's got 3 fucking names on fanfiction.net. Silvergist, 666 Ash, and the fluffiest writer. And they apparently live in Canada.
Of course.
And apparently they get contacted about dating quite often on this website, which I kind of doubt a little bit. But,
yeah, okay, buddy.
They said... Oh, wait. Okay. They said anyone that dares try and hit on them on this website will be blocked and reported, and he'll spam the admins until you're banned. If you ever want
That
something
would be
written, just DM me and I'll help you.
I got news for you. We can't get the admins to ban literal child porn.
Yeah, literal child porn. Fairy Tail is an anime that I watch. Blue Exorcist. My Hero Academia. I love the anime. Attack on Titan. Devil's a Part-Timer. Kakagurki.
Alright, well, at least one of those things is good.
DxD. Food Wars, One Punch Man, Boruto, Naruto. Yes, 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 yes again! I love the Naruto anime and I would watch it 1,000 times. I have so many stories in the wings for them. Most are posted to my Wattpad account. And some
Do
are
us all a
posted to my
favor.
other
You
fanfics
keep them in the
account.
wings. Keep the suspense building, okay?
You should always watch Naruto before you watch Boruto. No shit. They like Boruto though.
Ugh.
Yeah, so Sneaky, I've just read through the entire Cannonball fic.
Yeah.
It is, well,
A thing.
fucking something, that's for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there was like one good line. I I screenshot it in the Discord. The rest is just like,
Oh, so that's okay. So the author's justification for why Izuku is doing a death race in America to save a Japanese high school is the following. We enter Cannonball Run as a form of protest, which will make the government take notice of us and they'll restore the school funding.
Yep.
That is...
amazing, isn't it?
Those are words.
Well, those are words. Yeah, Gray's got it right. Those are definitely words.
Yep.
God.
It is. I don't even know what to say about the rest of the story, honestly. It is fucking stupid.
Also, that's a big keck from me in the shitpost channel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got Circles. Izuku always wanted to be a hero, even when quirkless and bullied made that dream seem unattainable. Well, you've all heard my rant about how much I hate Izuku, so it's gonna skip over that part. So
No
what
quirk.
happens when a few traumatic events and a powerful quirk shatter the life he's always known? Izuku must now learn that heroes need to first save themselves. Alright, fine, we'll click on it. Please be warned, this chapter contains suicidal thoughts, suicide mentions, descriptions of blood and death, depression, anxiety, and swear words.
Average 14-year-old.
Yeah. The breeze felt good today. A little chilly, enough for a cozy scarf, perhaps a soft beanie. Sunny Saturday mornings were particularly sweet to Izuku, as if the wind itself were happily sweeping through his chest. Though Izuku would never admit it, rainy afternoons were a close second favorite. The puttering of raindrops on wet pavement, the gray puddle of clouds in the sky, the distinct, earthy smell, the soft touch of chilled drops on his bare face. It was bliss. He liked the peace it gave. The isolation, though fleeting, was better than being chased by bullies.
It sounds like you like rainy days more than you like warm days, buddy.
Yeah, a little bit. His mother never questioned his whereabouts on most weekdays, since there was very few times that Izuku would arrive home later than 5 o'clock. It was for the best, he knew. She would not be fond of her son playing leisure 40 feet above soft grass and hard concrete. Not that he wasn't safe, of course, but Izuku hated the building beneath him. Though its landscaping was pristine and bright, the rooms were organized and colorful and covered with educational signs and encouraging posters, as most middle schools are. It harbored particularly painful, well, everything, really. He had his notebook, number 13, placed in his lap, and though his mumbling was absent, a soft smile graced his lips. It was Friday, and school had just finished. He had maybe an hour or so before he had to return home. He paused his writing briefly. His mother likely assumed that he was in a club, or had a close-knit friend group that he enjoyed after-school time with together. Bakugo remained frequent in their conversations over dinner. It was growing difficult to make more excuses as why they did not have sleepovers or share dinner or play video games anymore. His mother's bright eyes would recount their childhood antics with such vigor that he had not the heart to tell her that something had changed since those pleasant memories. Now Bakugo's presence alone stung like salt on split skin, tears from black eyes.
Prose.
I mean, don't get me wrong.
Author, could we get to the point? Izuku is sad. The end.
Like, don't get
Yeah.
me wrong. No. Don't get me wrong. The purple prose is not overwhelming yet, but I'm quickly losing interest in where he's trying to go with this all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Big sad. No friends?
What
Oh,
are you,
no.
maidenless?
Maidenless. What happened since
Unfortunately,
then?
you're
Izuku
friendless.
struggled to find the right explanation for her. She had such an intense gaze at times, over dinner, their shopping trips, study sessions. Izuku knew his mother was not oblivious to the loneliness that clung to Izuku's small frame, yet she persisted. Izuku was always left feeling so hollow after each excuse. It was good that she had gotten more opportunities to travel at work. It gave him time to hide, to breathe. I mean, look, so the author is setting it up nicely, don't get me wrong. But this is My Hero Academia. It's a specific genre. And admittedly, I'm not a huge My Hero Academia fan to start off with. So it probably shouldn't come as a surprise. I'm not a huge fan of My Hero Academia fan fiction stories to start with.
Imagine
A lot of them have been very samey. Now, obviously, this author is a lot less prosy, well, more prosy in some cases, than some other people I've had the misfortune to read stories from. But, again, I'm not really sure where he's trying to set up to get to this point, because everyone knows... Oh. Interesting. Everyone knows that Izuku was bullied in high school, and that he was alone in high school, and that he found refuge in doodling in his notebooks and shit. You don't really need to set that part up. It's just like the classic Naruto fanfiction issue where every single fucking cringe story starts with Naruto, age 5, being beaten up and raped by a horde of civilians for no real clear reason.
Well, you gotta have the emotional damage.
Yeah, they write the emotional damage. I forgot. My bad. The school years had flown by. Blah blah blah. Blah blah blah. Prose. Izuku grew up. Still no quirk. No quirk.
No quirk.
Each blade of grass, blah blah blah. Eraserhead was probably the best at rescuing failing civilians from height like this. So basically, Izuku is contemplating suicidal thoughts, standing at the top of the high rise on his school.
Why is Eraserhead there?
I'm not really sure why Eraserhead would be there. I heard you mention dark fics about Naruto being raped and wish to remind you of Harry Potter's 47 anal fissures. Whoa. 47. Good sir.
It was a lot more than
It was
that.
217.
Yeah.
Get it. If you're gonna try and be a cheeky little bastard, get it right.
God.
There is more anal fissure than he has intestine.
You know, maybe Putin should just like fucking hit the button. Get it over with, please.
Hit what button?
The nuke button.
Ah, yes, I suppose so.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. Scoured the notes. Mountain Lady, new pro hero, civilians falling. Blah blah blah. Fat Gum. If he was falling, blah blah blah. Basically, so he's basically having these suicidal thoughts. And he's like, "Oh man, what hero could possibly save me if I fell?" Left, right, blah blah blah, blah blah. Convenience store.
And nobody's looked
Alright,
up and gone, hey,
so-
that kid's standing on the edge of the roof.
Yeah, he kind of just got off the edge of the roof and went to go pick up some cabbage for his mom.
As you do.
Yep. Grape customer scores, snow cabbage. And then suddenly, hand squeezed his shoulder, and he's like, "Oh no." And someone whispers into his ear, and he's like, if you say any words, the cashier dies.
Inshallah.
And then the jar falls, and his hands were wet, and nothing slammed into his feet, because his eyes darted to his hands, and he's like, oh shit, I shattered the jar with how hard I gripped it, which... What the actual fuck?
Oh no, the cum jar. No fuck.
I'm kind of confused here. Like, I'm aware you could technically crush a mason jar. I'm just not sure Izuku can crush a mason jar. Is what
I
I'm
think he
trying to
dropped
say.
it.
No, he says that he didn't drop it because his hands
the,
were wet.
The jar falls. His hands are wet.
Yeah, nothing slammed. Yeah, the jar
he
falls,
missed-
his hands were
he missed
wet,
his feet,
nothing hit his
Sneaky.
feet. He looked at his hands and he's like, oh shit, I broke it.
By dropping it?
Well, then why would he look at his hands?
I don't fucking know. The hands are wet. How that happened?
I'm not quite sure.
Spaghetti hands. Who knows?
Yeah, he doused them in oil first, you know. Pocket oil. As every American carries around.
Excellent.
Hey
Over
Max,
your
do you
hands
carry
in
around
oil.
oil sand in your hands? You know, just in case you ever need to make a getaway?
Normally it's just normal sand.
You don't carry oil sand
You know,
with
it
you?
doesn't really clump up so poorly,
Yeah.
so you get real good coverage on the eyes.
I don't know, I feel like oil sand would be even harder to get out of your eyes if someone threw that into
Yeah,
your
but it would be
face.
harder to get in their eyes is the issue.
You know what,
Yeah,
that's a good
Sneaky,
point.
Now, if you're really accurate with
Sneaky.
throwing, then yeah, you can upgrade to the oil sand.
The real question is,
Yeah.
are you using fully automatic pocket sand or semi-automatic?
It's fully automatic pocket sand, of course. As is our
Of course.
God-given right.
With a extended capacity bump stock?
Yes. Extended capacity bump stock, yeah.
Excellent. As the founding fathers intended.
You say it like there's any other kind to you. I mean, yeah, you can technically get the normal variant in a store, but they'll look at you like you're a lunatic.
Yeah. No one
True,
buys
true.
normal pocket sand anymore.
Sorry, I'm not American enough for this.
Yeah. It's
You know,
okay.
you gotta
Your inferior
gotta educate
Norwegian
me.
genes just don't make you capable of understanding it.
I mean, that's why I'm asking, right? You know,
Yeah.
to learn.
No, you shouldn't.
Well, I mean, how else am I gonna defend myself from Swedes?
I don't know.
You know,
Get your grandfather's
but-
axe.
before you know it, fucking Elaine's gonna show up. He's gonna be like,
Don't mind if I take some more in Norway. As a treat.
yeah, exactly. That's why I gotta have some defensive armaments. And mutually assured destruction capabilities.
Just use
of
some
course.
grape shot cannons.
Yeah, you gotta have first strike capability. You know, the best defense is a good offense, as they say.
The grip on his shoulder is released, and his left wrist is taken so tightly he feels like he's back at school. What? Oh man, I'm being held at gunpoint. This feels just like school. Okay.
Interesting.
This feels like American education.
Katsuki, he does as Katsuki tells him, up on shaky legs, walking, his shoes crunch over the broken and bloody glass. I told you he crushed the glass in his hands.
Damn. Alright then. I mean, I didn't think it was possible because, you know, Izuku.
Yeah, I know, I hear ya. That's what I'm saying. It's just like, I don't...
Yeah.
A soup of pickled leaves and vinegar. It's slippery. More steps. Obnoxious doors. The squeal comes sooner than expected. A man walks in. The presence squeezing his wrist pauses. His wrist hurts. The man looks at Izuku, then at his bloodied hands and the grip of the wrist, and then the man at his side. Izuku looks for the cashier. The man had just entered, followed his gaze briefly. The checkout is empty. In an instant, the man takes action and Izuku is on the floor. His head is spinning, his wrist finally free. His attacker is struggling against the oddly gaunt man restraining him. Okay, so literally All Might's kicking the shit out of a burglar / child kidnapper.
Oh no. Gladwin, no, not like this.
Yes, like this.
I didn't realize this story was having a cameo for Cledwin.
Yeah. That's a new one. I haven't seen that before.
So I mean, the author does a decent purple prose job of having a teenager going through a panic attack as he was just potentially almost kidnapped, and the cashier was shot. But I'm not really sure how the cashier was shot without Izuku paying attention to that. Because let me tell you, if someone fires a non-subsonic round without a silencer attached to it, you hear it. If you're indoors, you hear that.
You don't hear much else.
Yeah, you that's pretty much all you hear.
Yeah. That and the fucking ringing in your ears. Tonight.
So you will in fact have significant difficulty hearing a good much else.
So
exactly.
Kind of impressed that Izuku didn't notice the guy was shot earlier. He was too concerned with his cabbages.
Damn. What is he, a Roman emperor?
What is he from Avatar?
So he's crying. Blah blah blah. He's crying. The cashier. Yeah, cashier was dead. Blah blah blah. Suddenly the blonde man yelled out. Sounded familiar. Someone was running beneath him. He got hauled away. Let me go. Help. Fucking kid, you talk too much. So basically, Izuku gets captured again? Question mark? By someone else who showed up to capture him?
Why are so many people seeking to capture this normal child?
Dude, I don't know, man.
Even less normal by MHA.
Yeah, actually, literally abnormal by MHA standards, yeah.
Okay, but I suppose I should rephrase that. Why are they attempting to kidnap the quirkless loser?
Probably because no one will really care if a quirkless loser gets kidnapped, and the police will just move on and not really look for him. It's kind of like when a hobo disappears in New York City. The police don't really put the pedal to the metal to solve that case.
True. But okay, here's the counterpoint to that, Sneaky.
Yeah.
Even if no one's going to come looking, what's the ROI? Like, right? Either they have to be specifically looking for this kid.
Yeah, or they're looking for a quirkless child, which I'm not really sure how you just tell at a glance, but
Yeah, like that's my point, right? Either they're specifically looking for this child, or they're
Yeah.
specifically looking for a powerless child.
or just a child, I guess.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's the riskiest thing of all, just looking for any random one, because they could have the ability to turn the water in your blood into carbon.
Soup.
They could have the ability to make bubbles from their mouth. They could have the ability to explode you. You don't know.
That's true. That's a big true. Yes. Yeah, that's a big true. Things were happening suddenly. Izuku was in a haze. All Might showed up. All Might beat up all of the kidnappers again. Cashier was dead. There's nothing you can do. Come with me. Blah blah blah. All Might body pillow. There was so much blood. Why did he think the hand on his shoulder was Katsuki? I don't know. Probably because you have minor amounts of PTSD.
Yeah, potentially.
The man that laughed, why was he so alone? Why was he quirkless? Why would anyone want to kidnap him? Man, there was so much blood. Alright, so, I mean, overall, honestly, as cringe as the summary is, it's still a hook.
Yeah, it's okay
Seen
written,
a lot
I guess.
worse.
It's just not interesting.
Yeah, there's been a lot worse. I mean, obviously, angst, hurt, comfort doesn't really advertise itself well to any of us here.
Yeah.
For various
'Cause
different
it's
reasons.
fucking garbage.
Yeah, more or less. Now it's still a hook though. Chapter 1 was still a hook. I'm not interested in this story at all. I don't really like the whole angst style of writing. I've never also really been a fan of the I don't know if there's a correct term for it, but the extreme first-person view, where even the narrative is heavily affected by the person's mental state. Where instead of like getting paragraphs or even one-line descriptions of what's going on, it's like you're getting like the what? Huh? I don't understand. Colors flashed, and then stuff happened, and then I was shook my head in a
Yeah.
daze. And it's like, okay, well, I understand the picture the author is trying to paint, but at the same time, I'm not a huge fan of the light on detail extreme first person chapters.
Yeah.
It's just not my thing. Max, Atin,
Yeah,
any
like-
opinions on this very subjective story?
Like you said, it's not my writing style. I don't particularly care for it. I don't think it's bad. Like, it's not poorly written. I didn't see any huge, obvious grammar issues.
Okay,
So,
someone does raise a good point though in the reviews. They said, really, you're gonna have Izuku shatter a mason glass of jar with his bare hands and have them get bloodied, and he's gonna get no medical attention? That's fair enough. Yeah.
Japan moment.
Author moment.
Yeah. Katsuki seems to have gotten a role as Deku's guardian because of guilt. So his mom dies?
What?
And for some reason his peer is given guardianship over him?
Well, that's retarded.
That's a little weird, yeah, I will say that's a little weird. Alright, so let's go to a new section here.
Yeah, apparently his mother dies. First
Okay.
thing in the second chapter. That's
yeah.
okay
Random.
then.
Games.
That's weird.
We did Pokemans. You know what? You know what we haven't done in a long, long time? Mass Effect.
Oh, here we
boy.
go.
Future Souls! Almost a quarter of century has passed since the end of the Reaper War. The massive beings that once tried to destroy life now help preserve peace. As the rest of the galaxy moves on with their lives, Miranda Lawson struggles to forget. An ominous new danger, however, reunites old friends and forces Miranda into a life she thought she had finally left behind. This is unrelated to Fate Stay Night.
What the fuck?
That's not a great thing to have to say.
Yeah, I'm a little bit confused by that one, to be real. What is interesting, however, is the implication
anyone would be confused by that.
Shepard went with the control ending, which is not something I often see Fix go with. What is not surprising, however, is that a lot of these Mass Effect stories seem to no longer be trying to do a full trilogy of writing, and most stories seem to be starting at Mass Effect 3 now.
That's not shocking.
Not shocking at all.
Well, some of them at least. This is big cringe. Mass Effect Shadow Walker.
Oh no.
God,
By
fucking-
Shadow Lord 1717. Sable
No, that's
Shepard
Sneaky,
had
that's
many
Black
secrets.
Shadow.
Oh yeah, Black Shadow, yeah, my bad. He's supposed to be dead for one thing. However, when his brother, Commander John Shepard,
John Freeman, brother of Gordon Freeman.
Yes, John Freeman, brother of Gordon Freeman.
Dawn Doom.
No, I thought we were rid of you.
Sable Shepard, brother of John
pants.
Shepard, uncovers Reaper threat. Sable must step out of Shadow, because he'll do anything to make sure John survive. It might have been better for Galaxy if he just stayed dead.
John effect.
Sable effect. Oh, fucking cringe. Yeah, control ending. Wow, a lot of resurgence and popularity for the control ending. Though I am a little bit Absolution. The control ending of Mass Effect 3. 60 years after the end of the Reaper War, a Turian patrol fleet finds a small vessel that has Reaper signatures. Realizing that this may hold the answers that he's been searching for, Garrus Vakarian joins the patrol and boards the ship. He specifically just so happened to specifically find a ship that Gene Shepard might be on. Okay, fair enough, I guess. Whatever, fine. It's very
I mean,
convenient.
it's Mass Effect.
I mean, yes,
There
it's Mass
is
Effect.
literal deific level of coincidence all the time in that game.
Yeah, honestly, I'm shocked that no one ever tried to make any like jokes or puns out of that. You know, parodies. Because there is, like, in the depths of space, conveniently, we seem to keep meeting people that we shouldn't, or should.
Sneaky, you take one of those the MC doesn't want to be the MC fix. That's the direction you take it.
Okay, so like
Shepard realizes that something is going to happen, but Shepard doesn't want to do any of that. Shepard wants to be a big rig space trucker or something.
Big rig space trucker. What, is he gonna go protest at Space Ontario?
That was not the direction I was going. I was referring to there's like this thing I have to do to save the world, but I don't want to do that. That's dangerous and stressful. Instead, I'm gonna be over here delivering, space hoagies to people, space Twinkies to the supermarket.
I mean, I don't know. You would have a hard time selling me on that one. Specifically, if they know, like you would have to come up with a reason as to why they know for certain that they are the ones that would have saved the universe.
Okay, you know what? Let's reframe it. This particular shepherd has no particular desire to be a hero. They aren't in the middle, right? New origin, normal child.
New origin, normal child. You play a
And
bunch
so when
of
all this
minigames.
crazy dangerous stuff happens around them, they're like, no, I don't want any of this. I am out. I am a normal person, and they take a job that frequently leaves them out of contact with much of anyone.
You know, I forget. I think it was a web serial that I read, and it was about this guy who was in a world with a bunch of, like, superpowers, but he didn't actually have any superpowers. And he was like, well, look, I don't want to be involved in all of these superpowered fights. I'm just going to go do these, like, really generic, super safe jobs, like being a fucking janitor. No one's going to kidnap the janitor to demand ransom to get the super secret codes or whatever. No one's going to no one's going to expect that I have, like, the secret key to the hidden safe or anything.
I mean, you say that.
That's a flag. There's actually several.
And so basically the whole story's premise is that he constantly joins these various businesses and companies, and he's working menial jobs in them, but they always end up being raided by the heroes because they were always, villainous organizations, covers for villainous organizations and stuff.
Oh, that sounds kind of interesting.
And so basically it's if you're familiar with Work, the Can Cole Abyssal Girl story.
Yeah.
What's its full title?
Oh, all work and no play.
Yeah, All Work and No Play. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's basically sort of like that, where the whole point of the story is the guy's just trying to get a stable job, but he keeps, ending up in these jobs that seemed good and were good until it turns out that actually they were part of a supervillain organization and the hero shut it down, so now he has to go find a new job. It was kind of funny. I liked it. It was a funny story for however long it ran, which wasn't very long at all, which is to be expected.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's only so many ways you can do that formula before it
Pretty
starts to get
much.
stale. Unless you're a fanfiction author, in which case, you can milk fucking anything forever.
More or less, yeah. As what's his face? Coralaran has very much proven.
It's a lot of
Lazarus
people that do that, a
shunned.
lot of different things.
Cerberus spent billions of credits trying to bring Commander Jane Shepard back from the dead, and despite the odds, it seemed to be working. Then a saboteur inside Cerberus makes his move, and Shepard's resurrection takes a horrific turn, leaving both the Alliance and Cerberus scrambling to control the situation. All the while, the Correctors began their harvest of humanity. Okay, you know what? Fine. Let's click on it. That actually sounds cool.
Wait, are we getting Zombie Shepherd?
That's what that, right? I don't know, but it sounds cool. Oh no. Edit
What
1.
happened?
I added more sections to this chapter, gave some extra backgrounds, and summarized some things for people that haven't seen Mass Effect before. You are in the year 2021, my dude. Why the fuck are you summarizing your story for people that haven't played Mass Effect before? That game came out in 2008.
Yep,
God, I feel old.
you are.
Not only that,
Yeah.
there's currently an enhanced edition out.
Yeah. If you've already read this chapter and you already know all this, feel free to skip to section 1. What? Oh, okay. Uther Force made good points in their review. See the author's note at the bottom because I added more things to the chapter. Okay, so here we go. So they're doing that thing where they add multiple chapters into a single chapter and they call it a chapter, even though there's multiple chapters inside the chapter. I hate that. That's like old 2007 fanfics, Max, right?
Yeah.
That's old. The Shadow Broker wanted Commander Jane Shepard to stay dead, so that's what Wilson was going to do. He was going to make sure the Commander Jane Shepard stayed dead. You'd think that keeping someone dead would be the easiest job in the world, but nope. Wilson lived in a stupid universe, and this stupid universe apparently had technology that could restore someone's brain after it had been deep fried by atmospheric re-entry. You know what, Wilson?
Fair enough.
I'm there with you.
Yeah. Wilson, you got a pretty valid point, bro.
I've
Alright,
killed
I'm
this
gonna pay
person.
you
Oh,
to keep
cool.
this
They
person
got.
dead. Okay, well, I mean, they're dead. Don't gotta do anything else. Well, actually, we just invented technology that can restore deep-fried brain.
God
Fucking
damn it!
what?
I'm sorry, are you sure you don't want me to steal the technology? No, I already got it. I just need you to make sure they don't use it on this person.
Fucking hell. This stuff's
I can
too
imagine
horrible.
an assassin in a fucking world with resurrection is like, okay, I've killed the target. Someone casted true resurrection on them. Why?
It was the baker!
They looked like they died of a heart attack. Why would you use true resurrection on them?
Apparently, there was a party of adventurers who thought he knew information because you killed them at the same time a murder went on.
I'm sorry, I love the idea of a
That
party
would-
of adventurers just busting out true resurrection
Yeah,
for the
right.
village baker.
The reason is
Oh, you
because
got
the DM has a fucking stick up his ass and refused any way of like seancing. So they're just like, well, time to
Nah,
break
he
up the
got-
diamonds.
You know
He just
what?
makes the best fucking bread ever.
I would actually like to read a short novella of the unluckiest assassin, where every single time they go to kill someone, they successfully kill them, but everything that happens afterwards just is the most ridiculous bullshit that no one believes. But because he always gets out, never gets implicated, and the person's always dead by the end, the organization he works for doesn't really care, and just thinks he's making the rest of the story up just to make him look, better.
Of course.
I went to kill my target, but there was suddenly an army of 5 idiots
Literal
that ran
fucking
in
demons
declaring.
came out of the ground, because apparently the target I killed was standing over a summoning circle.
Is he dead?
Oops.
Yes.
Yes.
Well then, good job. Mission accomplished.
That's why you're the
Meanwhile,
best.
the party of adventurers just like, hey, did anyone notice that like one dude that was just off to the side? Yeah.
This is why you
Does
get
anyone
paid
want to
to
talk
make
about
them.
that? No.
Isn't this like the 83rd time we've seen this man?
Who cares?
The DM has written up this entire backstory, just no one cares about him.
Or even worse, they think the DM's just recycling NPC descriptions.
And it's just the same
The
guy.
whole reason I think this is because of the baker, because the DM didn't have any sort of information on him, so he's just like, he doesn't have a seance. Stop asking. We're willing to blow true resurrection on this. Why?
Fucking
No, listen, that's very in line with D&D players. We want to talk to the baker. He doesn't, guys, as the DM, I am telling you, he doesn't know anything. I am going to use true resurrection. He's a baker!
Oh, no, even better. Alright, fine. You can use True Resurrection on him. He doesn't want to come back. It fails. Can I use Persuasion? Fine! Nat 20. Fuck!
Convince him to come back. His wife hates him. His kids are dead. Why is he coming back, huh? Because
Make
he
some
knows
really
the
good cakes.
he knows the true secret of baking, and he didn't share it with anyone. No.
See, that as a DM in Revenge, you just make the chef out to be like a demon prince or whatever.
Or, you make that baker show up way later on, but now he's like a level 20 berserker or some shit because, he got so pissed that he got resurrected that he decided to
Yeah.
hunt down the adventuring group that brought him back.
This was my chance to see my kids again, and you people brought me back.
I mean, we could have. Why didn't you ask us to kill you when you were brought back to life?
Because then that's suicide.
That's suicide, and then I won't get to go back to see my kids.
The truth was that Wilson had no idea why the Shadow Broker wanted the commander to stay dead, but this was the Shadow Broker. Asking questions was for the Solarian
Okay,
contacts.
wait, no. Hang on, I've got it. It's Shadow Broker Liara, and she's super pissed that Shepard turned her down.
Shepard! Good to see you're awake! Well, Shepard, we brought you back from the dead, but, there's unfortunately a complication. You see, I've shoved C4 up your butt, so you better do what I say, or, well, you can figure it out.
What the fuck is Shepard? Is he fucking Leon Kennedy of the fucking 20 whatever millennium?
Yes, and soon Chris Redfield will come back from the grave.
Liara is actually part of the Redfield bloodline.
You must continue the bloodline!
But no, he wants the true best girl, Tally.
The baker stands before you. You denied me my death. I was going to see my loved ones that died in the war. Now I will send you to the goddess myself. Roll initiative.
And that's when the rogue mentions that they still have a shot in their pistol. And then you look at their character sheet and it's like, who the fuck gave you a pistol?
Since when have you had this?
You gave it to me in a chest. When?
The fucking, like, the dream effect applies to the screen. It's like going back 2 years earlier. What do I find in the chest? Oh, fucking, I don't know, a pistol or something. I don't know. Is it loaded? Sure.
No,
it's got like a shot left in it.
It's like, yeah, it's like a single shot pistol. No one really makes bullets anymore. I will treasure this forever. Sure, dude, whatever.
Sure, fuck it, fine.
Or like some player was like, hey, can I have a flavor effect to my character where I have a pistol? And was like, no one makes ammo. I can have one shot, right? Sure, you can have one shot. You'll waste it on a fucking goblin. Whatever. Sure.
Yeah, DM expecting them to like immediately waste it or try and shoot someone with it immediately is like, fine, fuck it, sure. I don't care. Fuck it. I'm done today. You know,
It's
3
10
years
o'clock.
down the
No one
line,
else will
I
shut
pull
up.
out my pistol. You what?
And I look at the pistols like, oh, that's fine. It's just like a 1d10. You know I have been blessing my bullet, right? You what?
I think one of my personal favorites was at one point a DM sat down and they're like, okay, look, I've been making everyone else track ammo. Could you please tell me why you haven't run out of ammo for your pistol yet? You gave me a pistol of the infinite sky. What? Why did I do that?
I
That's a
mean,
very good question.
that's actually in line with what happened when we were playing D&D with Faceless.
Side note, pistol of the infinite sky. Best pistol in all of Pathfinder, because it's just okay. So what is this? This is a +5 pistol, and what's its special thing? Does it immediately kill God? No, it just always has ammo.
Fair enough.
Also,
Eyes light up.
special rule for anyone who plays Pathfinder: make sure the gunslinger keeps track of his fucking reloads.
Yeah.
Because they will not,
Yeah.
and they will absolutely abuse it.
Yeah.
I think my
that was
favorite
something I
D&D
actually
stories are DMs forgetting things they gave the players.
Oh
yeah. Oh no,
listen,
absolutely.
like-
That's what this story is about. So early on in the campaign, Faceless gave me Wabbajack, which was
Why
basically
the
supposed
fuck
to
did
be
he
a
do
deck
that?
of many things, except it had ranged attack on it. And the
no.
Faceless, you know, don't get me- like this campaign went on for how long would you say, Gray? A year and a half? Like 2 years? Almost?
Year and a half.
Yeah.
please.
The very
please
first
tell
thing
me you
was
Wabbajacked
amazing.
The final boss.
Yeah,
and
so-
it got.
No, I didn't use it on the final boss because he had set up this whole like quick time event sort of like big final slash attack setup for all of our heroes, and I kind of want to go along with it.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so it was like, but point being is that Faceless had forgotten he gave this to me because I didn't use it, and it had been months since I got it. And Faceless Totally forgot. So Faceless decides he's gonna one day send this really tough dude at us, and he was supposed to chase us because we were supposed to run from him, and Faceless was just gonna make him do everything on his turns to keep us alive, but chase us in a certain direction.
Right. I need them to go this way. The big horrifying monster will smash them this way.
And I was like, I see, that guy's really strong. I take out the Wabbajack and attack him, and Faceless is just like, wait, what? When did I... Oh.
I still remember the first one, which
And
was
so
a drop.
Yeah, I hit the guy with it, and he's like, alright, well, roll the wild magic table for what happens, and on the wild magic table, there was 100 outcomes. And the outcome I rolled was a In falls from the sky at terminal velocity on the target.
That poor Dulan.
I don't think I've had any funny items. Oh yeah, you do have that. Oh shit, you do have that. It's mostly just been small things in our current campaign. I think one of them was trying to remember. Our DM was using like there was this trap with like heat metal, and he was like, "All right, everyone, get ready to like run through this gauntlet." And I'm just like, you know, I have a cool like a ice sword, right? And he was just like looking at my sheet. Oh yeah, you do. Okay.
I remember one time, the DM had set up this massive trap-filled fire hallway, and I was like, right? They were on the walls, on the ceilings, but none of them were on the floor. And I was like, you know, you gave me like boots of spider climb like a year ago. Fuck.
Yeah.
So I just put on the boots and just
That sounds familiar.
walked up to all the traps and trap off, trap off, trap off.
So,
Oh wait, no, that's another
to
campaign.
bring it around the published fiction, I have actually been watching the most recent season of Supernatural because apparently I stopped watching at season 13, and they made 2 more seasons.
Why would you punish yourself for this?
Yeah,
It's just something to do when I'm out doing stuff. So basically, one of the recent episodes was a MacGuffin that had been given to the Winchester brothers called the Equalizer. It was given to them by God, and it was supposed to be this big MacGuffin that was going to be used in the finale to kill a previously unkillable entity. It worked. And then God shows up and he's like, alright, well, story's wrapped up, fellas. Time to die. I'm going to close the curtains on this world and move on to the next story.
And then they use it on God.
And then they use it on God. And God's like, oh. Ow. Fuck. And then he teleports away. But anyway,
you do.
so a couple episodes down the line, Lilith shows up. And they're like, whoa, we killed you. And she's like, yeah. And then God brought me back. They're like, okay. How the fuck do we fight that? So she beats him up a bit. She's like, alright, so give me the MacGuffin. And they're like, no, we won't give you the MacGuffin. We need the MacGuffin to, do MacGuffin things with it. And she's like, okay, fine. She finds the MacGuffin. And she's like, alright, well, now I have the MacGuffin. And they're like, well, we'll just get it back eventually. We always do. And she's like, well, no, actually, you won't. Like, well, how are you gonna stop us? She's like, well, you see. And then melts the MacGuffin right in front of them into slag. They're like, oh. I didn't know you could do that.
Oh.
I mean,
That
I'm
sounds
pretty sure
fishy.
there's a spell to stop and or reverse that.
This isn't D&D.
Right.
Yeah. This is a show called Supernatural.
Well, I'm fairly certain in Supernatural there's probably some magic bullshit to fix that
There's
too.
a lot of magic bullshit. There's a lot of magic bullshit in Supernatural. There's a lot of magic
That's
Okay, so
what
just to be
I
clear,
meant.
they use the MacGuffin on God. God doesn't die.
Yeah.
And then what?
Oh,
just
yeah, he
like,
opens up a portal to hell and lets out every single soul in hell back onto Earth.
why?
Because he was angry.
Supernatural does not have good writing.
He was angry and threw a tantrum.
Yes.
Yeah,
As-
so
as-
basically, God
I
in
didn't know anything
Supernatural is a alcoholic writer with depression issues and clingy syndrome.
I see.
He married his fangirl, who wrote gay Sam Times Dean fics.
I urge you to reconsider.
So anyway, blah blah blah, keep Shepard dead, blah blah blah, seventh seal of hell, blah blah blah, blah blah blah, blah blah blah, she was dead. Wilson had a lot of negative things to say about Miranda. She's a stuck-up bitch, elusive man, blah blah blah, bitch, 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 bitch. Bitch, bitch, bitch. Wilson had to look for funding outside of Cerberus to get his projects off the ground. Also, she was sealing all of his funding otherwise. Also, she was making it borderline impossible for him to pull the plug on Shepard's corpse. Or near corpse. Or corpse with delusion of life. Or whatever made sense to refer to Shepard as. There's a pistol
They
in
use
Shepard's
the power of Mass Effect trademark.
BioWare magic. Black tube.
Don't ask questions, it just works.
Well, grab a gun, put a slug in Shepard's head, blah, blah, blah. Everyone could go back to doing normal things like not trying to raise the dead. Fair enough. Wilson took a couple steps away, blinking orange monitor, stood next to Shepard. She was looking raw, cybernetics, blah, blah, blah. Timetable accelerated, blah, blah, blah. Shadow broker, he was probably not going to forgive Wilson if he didn't succeed. Drive core, blah, blah, blah. The one idea stored in his brain, stored all the way back there. See, what he could do is just wake up the commander and let the system trauma overwhelm her. So as long as nobody got to the lab in time to help settle the commander would basically cook their own brain alive in their own skull with the cybernetics overloading and the immune system going haywire. The problem is that the commander was showing rudimentary signs of consciousness, which meant she'd feel the procedure. It would be painful as hell, and there's a really chance she would actually wake up. Wilson didn't have anything against the commander. It was just stupid business, nothing really personal. And so subjecting the savior of the Citadel and the Alliance's greatest modern-day hero to just abject torture, well, he was still technically a doctor, so quick and painless would probably be preferable. Quick and painless. The two words didn't describe how Broker dealt with people that failed him. If he wondered if the Broker got a sick kick out of watching their agents fail because they have to have some fun afterwards. That wasn't any way to run an intelligence network, sure, but if it was a collective, then maybe they left the punishing to some sadists with too much time on their hands and not enough puppies to torture. He heard stories, you know. There was things that he heard. It wasn't like Wilson was being paranoid. He heard the stories from people. So, not wanting the commander to suffer was all fun and games, but fuck it, it's a dog-eat-dog world. Maybe the commander wouldn't wake up fully, and it would just be unpleasant before she died. Maybe, possibly. Sure, why not? It was easy to pump stimulants into the commander's body, even easier to adjust the dosage so that life support couldn't keep up with the adrenaline flowing through their system. And as Wilson looked over his shoulder at the big orange monitor that showed Shepard's heart rate and brainwave activity, he could see telltale signs that Shepard was on the path to waking up. Pretty soon alarms would start blaring, and shit, he'd have to warn Miranda. Otherwise, it'd be pretty obvious that he did this on purpose. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Wilson thought about how close he was to either getting out of the Broker's shadow or getting shot by Cerberus in order to psych himself up, and then furiously swiped away at his Omni tool. Miranda! I don't know, I think something's off with Shepard's life support systems. It might be a good idea if you came down here and had a look at it yourself. No answer. Miranda, am I on the right frequency? Still no answer. Okay, well, knowing where her office was, it would take her at least 5 minutes to get to the lab. Send out another panicked message to her a minute later after it was already too late, and we should be... The doors to the lab opened, and even though they were automatic doors, it still seemed like Miranda had pushed them open. Wilson almost choked out of some of the obviously suspicious crap, like, how'd you get down here so quickly? And just managed to bite his tongue. Besides, she was glowing purple. He knew how she managed to get to the lab so quickly. What the hell are you doing? Miranda said. She crossed the space between the entrance lab and Wilson's workstation like she was ice skating. Hey, I called you down here to make sure everything was fine. I haven't touched anything. Miranda looked at the monitor behind Wilson and squinted. None of those numbers should be where they are. That's why I called you. Look, I don't know if Cerberus got this stuff from, but half the time I feel like I'm working with Geth Tech here, and... Miranda was still looking at the monitor, and she had a deeply worried look on her face. There, on the monitor. Something's wrong. Shit. This was happening way too fast. Wilson looked behind him and felt his stomach collapse into a black hole. There was no use denying it. He'd just have to try and roll with it and hope he didn't get shot. In a nervous voice as he could manage, and that wasn't very hard to pull off, Wilson said, she's reacting to outside stimuli, showing an awareness of her surroundings. Something stirred on the table. God, there was no way Shepard should be moving that fast. She looked way too undercooked to come back into consciousness as quickly as she had. In a tone that was far more genuine than he anticipated, Wilson said, oh my God, Miranda, I think she's waking up. Okay, so I don't really understand what's going on here. The author is using colons all of a sudden. Like, previously, they were fine using the normal periods and commas for dialogue, but now all of a sudden they're using colons. But only, like, here. And they don't go back to it. I don't understand why. I don't understand. Miranda was at Shepard's side almost immediately, just as the lab became filled with various beeps and warning lights. Damn it, Wilson, she's not ready yet. Give her the sedative. Shepard moved again, and Miranda immediately grabbed her arm. Shepard, don't move. Lie still. Try to stay calm. Miranda was putting on her calmest authority voice, but Wilson could see the cybernetics. They were starting to heat up, and the look on Shepard's face, if he wasn't so worried about his own skin, he thanked his medical training for giving him a strong stomach. Heart rate still climbing, brain activity off the charts, stats pushing into the red zone. Christ, it's not working, Miranda. The resurrection? Sorry, Shepard, I don't really think this is the way you should have gone out, but... Wilson's thoughts fled the scene as the moment Miranda grabbed onto his shoulder, but instead of hurling him into a wall or putting a gun in his temple, she pushed him away and started punching commands into the holographic keyboard. The beeping and flashing lights were getting more frantic. Time was very much running out. Another dose. Now, Miranda said. God damn it, we're gonna lose her. Our entire species is, I'm going to, there, 2 doses. If that doesn't work, a pneumatic whooshing noise signaled a small pond's worth of sedatives were being pumped into Shepard. It only took a second for the beeping to subside.
If you're putting in 2 doses of sedatives into someone, and the goal is to resurrect them, I have very bad news for you, Miranda.
Look, see, my biggest question mark here was always, if they have the technology to fix a brain that has been cooked by re-entry, and then likely jellified by that said re-entry having the carcass...
See, let's be clear. First, you suffered massive oxygen deprivation.
Right.
Possibly some internal hemorrhaging due to rapid decompression.
Yep. And a concussion.
And a concussion.
And then you had re-entry, and then your body somehow survived slamming into literal land from space. They had the tech to resurrect someone from that. But cybernetics heating up too much would apparently kill her?
Well, I mean, that's probably just something on the lines of, oh, it could explode or something.
No. But what he's saying is they were able to fix a brain that was inarguably fully cooked, irradiated, decompressed,
jellified, literally a liquid at this point. Yeah. So. Anyway, so warnings dotted the line, drawing on whatever aptitude he had for acting. Wilson said, heart rate dropping. She starts falling back into normal range. God damn it, Miranda, that was too close. We almost lost her. Yeah, goddamn, all right. Miranda was again right next to Wilson in the brink of an eye. I told you the numbers were off, she said, the icy exterior breaking down ever so slightly. Wilson braced for the extended chewing out, maybe even threats, but Miranda's attention immediately shifted to Shepard. The commander was still twitching slightly, but his other eyes beginning to settle. It was weird, seeing Miranda show concern. The longer Wilson looked, the less it looked like it was Miranda was concerned for Shepard, and it looked like more that Miranda's shuttle had broken down in the middle of interstellar space or something. And if Wilson wasn't so frazzled, he might have given that lingering feeling of being way over his head. Entire species? Shadow brokers involved? What the hell is going on here? A bit more of his attention, but personal survival came first. Is there any damage? Miranda said, turning away from Shepard. Wilson stole a peek and, yeah, on the outside there was definitely damage, but that wasn't what Miranda was
damage,
asking.
you fucking... anyway.
I need to poke around a bit, he said. I think we caught it in time, but... Now Miranda had closed the distance between them. If we were as close as to a disaster as I suspected, understand there will be personnel changes on this project. Am I clear on that, Wilson? Yes, ma'am. Miranda spun on her heel and started towards the lab's exit. Halfway between Shepard's resting body and the doors, Miranda turned around and pointed back at Wilson. Do not take your eyes off her, understand? When Jacob arrives, you'll debrief him on everything you learned, and then we'll decide what your future is with the project. Miranda, come on! Miranda was already through to the hallway, though, and once the doors closed, Wilson nearly collapsed where he stood. Nothing, literally nothing could have been worse than what just happened. Shepard might or may not have been dead at this point, but it didn't matter in the slightest. Wilson wasn't dead yet, but he could see the end from where he stood. He took a look at Shepard, and where her skin and the red-hot cybernetics had met, and oh god, something was definitely fried up there. That's what he wanted, goddammit, but with Miranda around, with Miranda on his ass, and with Jacob coming any second, Wilson tried to get a grip. Miranda had no proof that he'd done anything questionable, and while he had heard things about other Cerberus cells, the one that Miranda ran didn't seem to execute people for incompetence. So if he just played that angle, he could sell out the Shadow Broker. That's how he would get back in Cerberus's good books. Say he'd gone off and tried to redeem himself because he heard the guy liaison with the broker, so he pretended to join up to pass on what little he knew, since, goddamn, obviously the elusive man wouldn't want a competitor like the broker around. That would be the plan. Wait, what if Miranda had cameras installed? Wilson sprinted away from Shepard and started coming through the corners of the room.
What if they had cameras installed? My dude, there's a thing called a user access log.
If he doesn't resurrect Shepard, he's fucked.
Yeah. He pulled apart boxes and tables and crates and ran every program he could think of to pinpoint the cameras or bugs.
Sneaky, question. You did information security.
Sure.
Just about everything these days logs who uses what when, right?
Oh, sure, but I mean, if you know the right command, you can actually enter commands in to make the command delete itself from the log.
Okay. The likelihood of this guy knowing that.
I mean, if he can get into the system in the first place, that he already knows something, because he doesn't have access to the system.
I mean, he might just be panicking right now.
No, I mean, don't get me wrong, he probably is 100%, but my point is, if he actually manages to get admin access to the camera logs, he's already in the system, and he clearly knows something more than just his doctorate license for medical sciences.
True.
So, I mean, it's a 50-50, he might forget. I mean, it's actually really easy to forget, and also, there's this whole, delay timer you have to set up, because if you do it too soon, if it's not timed correctly, you send in the command to delete the logs will still be logged in there, and if you log out too late, then you leaving, say you did it from a remote connection, obviously if you're doing a physical connection, it's way less risky, But that's just how it is with information security. Step 1 of information security is never let someone have physical access to your device. Because there is no step 2 after that if you fail step 1.
Don't imagine there would be.
Yeah. But yeah, say you're remotely logging into a location and you are entering commands, and all of that would be recorded by a log. And while you could wipe the log and then log out, if you don't time the log wipe commands correctly and the log out timing correctly, it's entirely possible for your log out to be recorded, and also for the wipe commands to be recorded. So, and typically, if your wipe commands are being recorded, depending on the system and how it's set up, it would probably also log the IP of what sent the command. So, it's important to obfuscate as much as possible. But no, it's 100% possible to wipe your traces. It's exactly why information security is such a major issue. It's because you don't know someone's in your system, typically, if they're doing it right.
Until it's too late.
Yeah, until it's way too late. Information security and cybersecurity in general are purely reactive industries. There's no ability to be proactive in the industry simply because you don't know what they're going to hit you with until they hit you with it.
They could hit me with a bat, they could hit me with a club, they could hit me with a shotgun, and I won't know what it is until I get hit.
Pretty much.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Which, yeah.
It's terrifying.
Terrifying, and it's also... Remember, kids, this is why backups are important. Because even if they hit you with a shotgun and take you out, if you've got a clone sitting somewhere that they can't get to, then they've minorly inconvenienced you.
Or majorly inconvenience you, depending on how much of the system gets hit by the virus and how far it spreads, and if you're intelligent enough to make sure that the backup copies are a manual one-way sort of deal.
I mean, that's why you have a second
wouldn't you
off-site
keep physical copies?
physical backup?
Yeah.
Knows that implies a level of intelligence that some people do not possess.
Well, a
Understandable.
major issue with a lot of backup shit is that companies want to skimp and save money until a company's has a major hack. Like, companies will see minor hacks all the time of like, oh, someone slapped our websites, someone slapped this one computer. And nothing, it's not really a big deal, and you'll never really get a budget increase or a budget management going on. It's only really takes like the major hack, like the thousands of accounts compromised, internal accounts compromised, major information leak, shit like that.
Oops, we ended up on CNN.
Right. It takes that level of shit before the what's his name? The CIO? The C
I mean, it depends on what you're talking about. If you're talking about the chief financial officer.
Yeah, CFO, yeah.
CFO.
And before the CFO, gives the thumbs up on the major budget increase, that would require, server setups, either renting the locations or purchasing your own location and then setting up the servers and setting up the backup space and the constant power and the various mandatory safety systems you have to install on them. The person you need there to be watching them and stuff like that. It's admittedly a very significant budget increase to get a good physical security system set up as a backup system, and so a lot of companies don't bother with it until they've been hit hard by something. And then companies go, oh, wait. Oh, shit.
Oh, that's why we needed this.
If only someone
Well,
told us
that's why we
sooner.
were praising. That's why we were fucking giving this guy so much money.
And I mean, they typically usually fire the cybersecurity people after a major hack, even though it's typically not their fault.
Yeah.
You didn't protect us from this, therefore you're fired.
Yeah. Despite the fact that the cybersecurity people likely put out dozens of emails every single week about not clicking on suspicious links and not doing X, Y, and Z, and please stop watching porn on your computer and downloading viruses to it.
And then, wouldn't you know it, oops, hey, it was the CEO, right? oh hey, it was the
yeah,
CEO who
usually
was
it was some higher up that did something really
looking at
fucking
the thing they
dumb.
weren't supposed to be looking at, and they did the thing that they shouldn't have been doing, and then
they don't
oops,
get punished for it because
Yeah,
we can't admit that the CEO was wrong.
it was an error in cybersecurity. It was a lapse in effectiveness. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so Wilson sprinted away, tore apart the room, trying to find cameras and bugs, looking for hidden panels or bumps or anything. He knew for a fact that Miranda definitely bugged his room. Had to have bugged his room. It was Miranda. The metallic click, blah blah blah, something fell, blah blah blah, he stood up, Shepard's table's empty. Shepard's table was empty and there wasn't anyone lying there. The noise was coming from Shepard. She was now
There
standing
should
next
be
to
a
the
lot
equipment
more than a
locker.
click. Like, generally speaking, when you're on a hospital bed and you get off the hospital bed and you disconnect all the monitoring systems.
Yeah, but you gotta keep in mind, Wilson was literally tearing through the room, throwing things left and right, trying to find these bugs. And that could have covered up for the footfalls.
But I'm talking about the fact that when someone gets off right,
Yeah, but you
she's
also
hooked
gotta
up
keep
to a
right,
medical
right.
monitoring
No,
suite.
I understand, but you also have to keep in mind this is Mass Effect, so they might have had some sort of bullshit wireless monitoring system set up on her or something. You know, something that wouldn't have prevented her from technically getting, clothing on.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, I might be completely wrong in this whole scenario, and maybe again, this is the problem with first-person unreliable narrator, is you don't really know if the author forgot to include this part or the author intentionally did not include this part because the character wasn't paying attention to that sort of thing. Now, a metallic click of a locker closing, I can certainly understand. Catching the human ear because the person's currently panicking. They're searching for anything that might be out of place, and then the click of the ear.
They're also very scared because they could be getting murdered at any second.
Right. So hearing that the click of the locker happening was I mean, it's fair enough. Noise coming from Shepard. Blue aura signal kinetic shields were up. She was sliding her helmet over her face. That horrible face. Shepard turned around, stared at Wilson. Shepard, what the hell? Shepard brought up the pistol and blew Wilson's head off.
Oh shit.
Oh,
Based.
murder Shepard.
Shepard is a murder hobo. Shepard is a murder hobo. Word spread fast that
Does
Wilson
that count as
fucked up.
renegade?
Does it count as renegade if you kill terrorists?
Morally grey action, I suppose.
You gain more points of neutrality.
Exactly.
Technically, we're supposed to tell you this was bad, but
What drives a man to be neutral? Was he born with neutrality nestled deep in his heart? Or was it greed, lust, or desire that drove him to fill his life
No.
with neutrality?
It was definitely greed. Just look at the Swiss.
true.
Fair.
Ma'am, I'm sorry, but your son has been afflicted with the most terrible curse.
True neutral. He might even be a druid.
He may
No.
be Swiss.
A fate worse than death.
Is there anything we can do for him? Well, you could take him to the Temple of Good or the Temple of Evil. They might be able to make him, neutral good or neutral evil, but
Alternatively, you could just give him a watch. Two of
Or
the
a
three of
job as a
them turn the
mercenary.
corner, Shepard walked through the doors, and then their heads are blown off. And then Shepard kept walking. More people showed up hearing the shots, and Shepard blew their heads off too. A bionic shockwave blew apart even more people and chunked them into a fine salsa. And suddenly, there was fire and fire alarms, and security was being investigated, and Shepard kept shooting and walking.
So anyway, I started blasting.
Yeah, so anyway, she just started blasting. She grabbed a shotgun, she grabbed an Avenger rifle, she started ripping away paneling from the wall, securing her katana.
I don't know what the fuck is going on.
Okay, sure,
Apparently-
fine, whatever. But why is Shepard killing everyone?
She unlocked that Halo 3 armor, boys.
Excellent.
Great.
That legendary katana armor.
Folded
Shepard
over
had one
700
hand on
times.
her assault rifle as she mowed down the helpless security personnel, leaving her
One
other
hand, huh?
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, it is a Mass Effect rifle. It doesn't, like, the recoil, technically speaking, Mass Effect rifles shouldn't have recoil, really. Because they are just propelling a shard forward. I mean, otherwise they would have all sorts of vents and whatnot for blowback recoil. Because if there was genuinely recoil from the act of moving the shard forward through, fantasy means, Mass Effect means, they're like, the reason why railguns don't have recoil is because the magnetism isn't blowing the shard forward, it's pulling the shard forward, right?
Uh-huh.
But Mass Effect operates by using both railgun technology to propel the shard forward and Mass Effect technology to lighten the weight of the shard. So technically speaking, there's no propellant in the gun, there's no explosion, and there really shouldn't technically be any recoil either. So honestly, all things considered, the rifle should be, by all technicalities, shooting like laser pistols.
Not just like technicality, it's just like by science.
Right, by all technicalities.
Yeah. Well,
Science is
Um,
a technicality.
Just like by how, technically speaking, a laser musket shouldn't have recoil.
yep.
Yes.
Or arcing.
Nor-
Right, Nose? Laser muskets shouldn't have arcing to them?
Don't talk to me. I haven't actually ever used the laser musket more than like twice.
Nobody has.
You can literally get a laser rifle from Dance that's like 10 times better.
I know.
Why would you ever use a laser rifle?
The funniest bit is one of the final upgrades is a legendary upgrade you can unlock for it. It's really complicated to get the upgrade for it, but it there's an upgrade for the laser musket where you can just continuously crank the reload button to keep shooting like it's a
real gun.
so more like a Gatling gun, like the classic Gatling gun where you cranked each bullet into place and as the crank turned.
Oh, yes. The Maxim.
Yeah.
That's actually kind of decently cool, I guess.
It's a little bit cool, but at the same time it's also like
Kind of stupid.
really fucking
But why,
dumb.
when I could have a real gun?
Shepard
what
and
when there's a
Cybernetics are
laser?
probably playing the Doom soundtrack. It would explain all the murder. I mean, what also would explain the murder is that the author might have foreshadowed it a bit here. The author said, "Man, these cybernetics look very Geth-like."
Oh.
Yeah.
That would
So we've
explain.
got Gethard. Gethard? I'm not sure. How do
Gethard?
you...
Gethard. So anyway, Shepard was also using engineering tech to shoot cryo and incendiary forward and killing people. Shepard's pace never increased from a walk to a jog. A message to Miranda. Shepard was up and killing everyone. Took 10 Cerberus soldiers with Maddox to stall Shepard long enough for the 11th to get the message off, which she did just as Shepard cracked her head open on a pane of reinforced glass. Very, very Doom style. So my only commentary here right now is, again, I really hate the Mass Effect 2 guns. I really hate the Mass Effect 2 guns. I hate how some of them are like, these guns are more accurate. It's like, why would they be inaccurate in the first place? If you're suspending a shard of metal in a magnetic field then accelerating it. It will go in a straight line. It's not going to be like going to the right or deviating to the left. It's a shard of metal moving at 3% the speed of light. With how fast it's going, it doesn't have the time to deviate.
And more to the point, no one has time to dodge.
Nope.
I mean, yeah, that too.
Like, I understand. Mechanically, you can dodge things in Mass Effect because it'd be fucking horseshit if you couldn't.
Well, I mean, also mechanically speaking, it's understandable why they would introduce weapons into the game that are variations of like the assault rifle, like the Maddox versus the Avenger versus the Revenant, because it makes sense, right? Like, yeah, we gotta add some variety in here, even though future tech would very much turn this into a, you know, this is the rifle, this is the shotgun, this is the pistol, this is the sniper rifle, and it all ends up being some combination of the exact same gun.
Depends entirely on how capitalist the world is.
Well, yes, but at the same time, if you're removing propellant from the gun has only so many ways of operating.
I mean, theoretically.
Well, no, not even theoretically. It's very important because the propellant in the gun does more than just shoot the bullet forward. Like, a lot of mechanisms in the gun are wholly dependent on the recoil from the bullet to move slides and move levers and push pumps and shit like that, to move bolts backwards, to eject the shell, to bring up the next shell, relying on gravity and the, you know, spring capacity of the magazine and whatnot. So all of that's highly dependent.
My point was more that, like, unless you only have one faction in your story, there is going to be variation on how they use, like, even what propellant method they use, like chemical or electromagnetic or some kind of space magic.
Yeah, but like that. The problem is though, is that Mass Effect didn't do that. They all use the exact same technology.
Well, no, because here's the thing.
Mass Effect is fucking shit.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah. But here's the thing: from a technological perspective, why would I use something like propellant when this thing goes, 3% the speed of light?
That's actually people actually have come up with some very good reasons for it, and they are technically sound as far as I'm concerned when it comes to sci-fi. So basically, bullets are big.
Yes.
In Mass Effect, the bullet being shot at you is most of the time, unless specifically specified, whether it's the shotguns, some of the pistols, and some of the rifles that specifically state that this shoots a larger round than normal, which is why it doesn't have the reload doesn't have the capacity that other guns do, because it's shaving off a significantly larger chunk from the metal block than normal and firing it, which obviously thus generates more heat, which, I mean, is fair enough. But bullets are even bigger than that. And the equation of mass times velocity equals force doesn't take into account key things, such as the mass of the object it's hitting. And you can see this quite often with certain metals, in that because even though technically speaking the metal is denser or quote-unquote stronger against striking attacks, air quotes, against it, because the metal has less mass than the thing hitting it, it's just by sheer dint of weight behind the object that the metal is still damaged.
Yeah.
It's the same reasoning as to why using 2 tree logs to crumple a walker worked in Star Wars.
Yes.
It's because there comes a certain level where sheer weight actually has a factor, no matter how slow the projectile is moving compared to something moving far faster. With that being said, you also have to keep in mind that in Mass Effect, the majority of barriers are attuned to specifically stopping objects moving at 3% the speed of light. And this is important.
Oh, so like a Dune thing.
Right.
Go
because-
slow enough to cut the shield.
Right, and this is where Mass Effect actually took it from, because it's very important about this is that this is a constant barrier. This is not a barrier that only activates when a projectile is coming at it. It's always active, but it's tuned to a frequency, air quotes, that only repels objects moving a certain speed, which allows air to move through it.
Right.
Which is why punching someone with a kinetic barrier works, and why hitting someone with a melee weapon works. Because they aren't moving fast enough. And now, while it canonically is possible to also attune your barrier to counter melee weapons as well, it's just something you have to be careful of, because if you start moving too fast, or you try doing duck dives, rolls, and dodges, you might accidentally end up triggering your barrier, and obviously weakening your shield by simply dodging an attack. Because, you hit the ground going too fast, but that was fast enough for it to trigger it as a melee attack.
Right. So then it goes, oh, I need to absorb this.
Right. With all that being said, using a projectile weapon, specifically of the chemical variety, you actually have a very large range from the muzzle velocity of various bullets of the chemical variety. You could certainly get away with claiming some of the heavier rounds, like 50 BMG, 308s, 792s, 762s, would theoretically puncture through the hard light barrier without even it noticing, because of the slower speed it's moving at. Now, that being said, you also have to keep in mind what they use is ceramic armor, because ceramic is actually quite useful against high-speed projectiles.
Yep.
Fun fact is that tier 4? Tier 4 single-use armor can in fact stop a 50 BMG round, and it's made out of ceramic tiles overlapping. Now, don't get me wrong, this isn't stop a BMG round and you're fine to keep going. This is stop a BMG round, you're going to need medical attention almost immediately, but at least you aren't missing a chunk of your torso.
Yes.
You're not
Yeah.
instantly dead.
You have
Yeah,
not
you're fucking,
turned
you're down and out.
into- Congratulations. You took a 50 BMG round and your organs aren't juice.
Yeah. So with all that being said, the armor is typically described in Mass Effect as a mix between ceramic plating, steel plating, and the gel cushioning.
Level 4 armor is rated for 30-06.
Yeah.
Armor piercing. So not quite 50.
Well, I mean, I've
close.
seen videos of people shooting it.
Yeah, but it's
Before.
not rated for it.
Right, it's not rated for it because you're going to be on the
That's,
ground, probably
bad
bleeding
luck.
out still.
Yeah.
The armor rating is more for what can you be shot with and be just, under the auspices, the umbrella of the probably mostly okay section.
Might live this.
You
might
might
live
have a
through
cracked
this.
rib or something, but that's definitely not the I am on the ground currently bleeding out because I have 4 cracked ribs and a ruptured stomach. Which is still admittedly better
Yeah.
than I am currently missing the left side of my torso.
Yeah.
Unless you're dealing with a Ralphus round and then you just have a...
I mean, you don't have time to think, oh fuck, if that's what hits you.
Yeah.
Like, that's just boom. Lights out.
Yeah. That's what we call a
How to
unfortunate
uninstall a
occurrence.
human the Norwegian way.
Exactly.
Shepherd cybernetics, yeah.
Your free
So-
trial of life has been ended.
How's this even possible? Heavy mechs, blah blah blah, lockdown, Commander Shepard, blah blah blah. It was a Husk, or it was a Commander Shepard, blah blah blah, no distractions, non-negotiable, blah blah blah. Commander Shepard, holster your weapons and we'll do the same. We'll help you, we're not your enemy. Blah blah blah. Shepard was looking at Miranda, holding the Avenger. Shepard's head slowly moved away from Miranda towards one of the shuttles, then drifted back to Miranda. Then Shepard started walking forward. Please lay down your weapons. She's not listening. Miranda, Jane Shepard, we mean you no harm. God damn it. The commandos rocketed upwards and shoved his Matok forward before he could pull the trigger, before Miranda could grab him or Jacob could tell him to stand down. Shepard turned purple, and a split second later, she was standing where the Cerberus soldier once stood, and there was a sickening crunch somewhere else in the bay as the commando's body connected with something solid, more solid than him. Fair.
Biggie.
Then she started doom marining her way through the soldiers, sending the mechs down, making flank disarmor. Long past that, Miranda orders, sir, retreat to the shuttles. We're not leaving. Preserving Shepard's our only priority. This project's fucked up. We're gonna get massacred. Shepard then appeared on the other side of Miranda's cover, shotgun pointed at her head. Troopers stand down, hand, this Fubar, Miranda, blah blah blah, combat. You have no idea what's going on. A whole lot good that's goes for. I don't know why you're willing to die over her. Look out. The now sniperless commando got out a warning as Shepard's fist smashed into her nose, kicked her legs, broke her knee, and then Glory killed her.
So I can only assume the only reason, like the only way this story goes anywhere remotely interesting is if she's been taken over by the I can't think. What's whatever Geth collective that Legion's part of.
Yeah.
Otherwise, Shepard's just
yeah.
Otherwise, Shepard's just going to summon the Reapers because Shepard is a Reaper and it's done in 10 seconds.
Yeah. So anyway, so Shepard gets on the shuttle. Everyone but Jacob and Miranda are dead. Blah blah blah. Shepard was a hero. Blah. She died over a locker. Blah blah blah. No report crossed desk. Someone in a set of heavily damaged N7 armor that hadn't been issued since the year Shepard died. Match all biometrics of Shepard, and this person have seemed no issue massacring the settlement on Freedom's progress after kidnapping Corian. What the fuck? Alright, so Shepard just fucking killed everyone. Cool.
So Shepard killed everyone and kidnapped Tally. That's one way to get your waifu, I suppose. Probably not the healthiest.
Yeah, it's certainly a way. So yeah, with all that being said, the author wanted to be like, oh, I wanted to call this Lazarus Shrugged originally. So anyway, I mean, honestly, the story itself is potentially interesting, but as Atin said earlier, I really gotta know what's going on with Shepard, because if the author tries to keep up this whole mystery suspense of what's Shepard doing going on for another, 2-3 chapters, it's gonna lose interest very quickly. Because if the whole story is just chasing after Shepard as she doom marines her way through everything, it's just like, and we don't even get to see Shepard doom marining everything. It's just we just get told Shepard doom marines everything.
Yeah, I was gonna say if we're just an after action reports of Shepard doom marining everything,
No
thanks,
point.
but no thanks.
So I mean, yeah, that's that story. It's 9/18, and it's a Friday, which means I'll see you lads on Tuesday, because there's always more and it always gets worse.